Hey, it's Kaylin from Travel Yourself. Those of you who know me know I love to travel, and those who don't, now you do. We're in the middle of Copenhagen in Iceland. One of the reasons I love to travel is meeting all these different people from around the world, from different walks of life, learning from them and learning about them, and also hearing all of their stories. I'm also a filmmaker, so of course this interests me. And I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of great people on the road or through social media, and I've asked them to tell me why they also love to travel and some of their good and bad travel stories.
Bueno, here we go.
Well, one of the best things about traveling is not only the amazing experiences you have while you're traveling and the amazing people you meet, but the fact that it opens up doors that you never thought were possible before.
Why do I love travel? I think it's almost beyond what I think. It's just an urge. It's always been there that you want to see things. It's like that song, "She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes." That's just too passive. You want to go see what's there. You know, I've had the pleasure of traveling so much in my life, and yet I'm not remotely satisfied. There's so much of the world and so much of this country and so much of this city, New York, that I haven't seen. It's endless.
Whether you travel within your own country or go overseas somewhere, it's such an endeavor worth doing because your eyes open up to all these possibilities, and that is why it gets my heart going.
There's a lot of different reasons why I like travel. The journey is most of the fun, especially if you can find an interesting and new way of getting someplace, probably a way of travel that you never would have tried before.
We love to travel to see the world. I love to travel because I love to feed animals in strange locations.
I love to travel because I want to try Mexican food and eat tacos everywhere that I go.
And if I could feed Mexican food to a kangaroo,
My life would be complete.
our life would be complete.
I love to travel not only because I get to meet people all over the world and probably learn more in one trip than I ever did in school, but there's something about the challenge and the feeling of being out of your comfort zone that I find absolutely exhilarating.
And we love to travel. We absolutely love it.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, so the reason why we love to travel is, for me, it's learning new languages. I love being able to learn new languages and learn about other people's cultures.
Yeah, I just love the fact that all the experiences and stuff we have that are so different to our normal, like, everyday life. I was thinking just the other day how many things we've done. Like, we've been to parties in Cambodia, we've celebrated festivals with people, like with families in Nepal, and
Ganesh Festival in India as well.
Yeah.
The Ganesh Festival was absolutely fantastic.
I wasn't a particularly outgoing person before I started traveling, but once I did start traveling, I started to realize that the more outgoing I was, the more amazing, fascinating, incredible things I would experience. So I would contribute travel to a major factor of who I am today and what I'm doing today. Big time. It changes people. It changes you. You can't travel the world and not become a better person. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Travel is not always sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
No, I haven't got one.
See, traveling's really great. We just got no stories.
Story.
What have we done?
And oh man, never forget this. There was this one woman who was leading us along, didn't speak a word of English, and she was going through the tide pools, and she picked up this rock and hauled out this big, it was called a sea hare, but essentially this big sea slug. And I'm a marine biologist, so I kind of know a bit of marine biology anyway. How these things defend themselves is they squirt purple blood out of their butthole. No joke, the animal kingdom is crazy. I know. Anyway, so she took this thing by its hole, ripped it open, stuck her fingers in, grabbed some random organ, popped it in her mouth, and then with stained purple teeth and dripping lips, she kind of opened it up like a Halloween treat bag and offered me some. And yeah, I did.
When I think of one of my greatest travel experiences is in India, like many years ago, I still had a Sony Walkman with a cassette player, and I was about to go on an overnight bus ride from Udaipur to Delhi, and I was going to listen to some music, and the guy across the aisle, a local Rajasthan man, saw it, and just kind of with a quick nod reached and grabbed my Sony Walkman from it and started listening to music and, listening to his music for 45 minutes or so, and then eventually returned it to me. Never thanked me, never asked. I was just sitting there fuming. I was just shocked by the gall of this guy just to assume that he could use my Sony Walkman without even asking. Later that night, it got really cold. I guess I was the only one that didn't realize that Rajasthan got so cold at night. And I was sitting there really struggling, and he noticed, and he immediately, instinctively, reached over with his big wool blanket and shared it with me across the aisle. And there's the travel lesson. You know, I mean, the idea of possessing things and ownership is different in different places. If someone's cold and you have a blanket, you share it. And if someone needs to listen to some Bollywood tunes and someone else has a Walkman, you use it. And I kind of agree with that. I certainly remember it.
Oh shit, iPhone gone. So, henceforth, since that day, I always look at a toothless Indian man with suspicion and wonder if he's going to pull out a bright pink iPhone.
Everyone who has the opportunity should travel because while they will learn about different foods, cultures, lifestyles, and whatnot, probably the best lesson that travel can teach you is that while we all are different and we have different ways of life, at the root of it, we are all the same. And when you travel, you get to 100% see that for yourself.
I could spend my whole life just in Mexico. I think that the reason why I love it is the same thing I would tell others why they should travel. And it's that you can't really understand your home until you've left it. You know, we, in a sense, grow up in shades of blue. There's light blues and different colors of blues, but you can't describe blue until you've seen orange and gray and tangerine.
Like gripping to the side of the rock because you're terrified that you're going to fall off.
We made it all the way up to the 8th step, which was as high as we could get before it got too icy to go on.
If there had been a taco, my life would be complete.
All we had was PBJ though. The view was beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It's a chance to write a completely new chapter in your story, and it's completely different from anything that you've ever done before.
To cut a long story short, we fell into the mud paddy. We had to get the bike from being upside down back onto the track, which was about a 3 or 4 foot drop into the rice paddy. We're covered in mud, and we continued still that day to go to all the temples because we were about 10 kilometers away from where we were staying.
Probably a bit longer, actually.
So we're covered in mud. The dry shit had dried to all our pants and our shirt and our legs and everything. And all these tourists and also the Vietnamese people are looking at us like, you know, covered in mud at all these temples, and we were like, well, we have to go see the temples. It's our last day in Hue, so we have to go.
When you're traveling, if you open yourself to the world will open itself back to you.
Pack up and go.
I hope this has inspired you to travel too, and hopefully I'll see you on the road soon.
See ya!
Travel yourself.
It's all about having those memories for the rest of your life, and it is those places, but most of the time it's the people that you've met or, you know, the things that you've done with people from that country that I think really sticks in your mind. I think, you know, travel has allowed me to go, hey, I can do this. Like, we went canyoning and I was cliff jumping and abseiling down waterfalls, and I hate heights and all that sort of stuff, but